I am now completely the Dauphine of France. On July 12, 1770, 14-year-old Marie Antoinette was welcoming her first summer since marrying into France. Mother, I am getting dressed while being watched by so many people. It is a little embarrassing, but I am the Dauphine, after all. Even as she wrote this in her letters, at heart she remained a young girl, occasionally recalling the quiet gardens of Vienna. Far away in Vienna, reading the letter, Maria Theresa's heart ached for her daughter, yet she accepted it calmly as an empress. Stay strong for the sake of the alliance. The letters between mother and daughter were proof of affection, but also political reports that shook Europe. Within the glamorous court, with what thoughts did young Antoinette spend her days? Let us take a close look at Antoinette's day, from morning until night. Antoinette wakes up around 8 a.m. The Dauphine's rising was a cynical public event, modeled after the king's lever ceremony. Soft light shines through the curtains of morning Versailles. In the silence, the door opens and a single lady in waiting quietly enters the room. Good morning, madame. I have brought the basket. Thank you. I am still sleepy, but the day begins again, doesn't it? Immediately, another lady-in-waiting brings a small table next to the bed. A steaming cup sits on a silver tray, filling the room with a sweet aroma. Here is today's breakfast. We have prepared coffee and hot chocolate. I will have the sweet chocolate today. Feeling the soft steam, Antoinette takes a sip and slowly closes her eyes. At that moment, a livelier presence approaches from the hallway. This time, it is the maids pushing a bathtub. As the white tub with shining brass legs is brought into the room, the atmosphere becomes instantly brighter. Madame, preparations for your bath are complete. Yes, please. Still wearing her flannel gown, she sinks her feet into the hot water. The water ripples slightly, and a look of relief floats upon her face. When the bath is finished, the maids carefully wipe away the water droplets and dress her in a fresh chemise and gown. Madame, the chemise, and we shall drape the gown over you. Thank you for your hard work. It felt very pleasant. Once composed, Antoinette returns to bed and picks up a book or embroidery. It seemed like a fleeting moment of quiet had returned, but suddenly, the sound of scratching on the door rang out. This is the signal used instead of knocking. The person who appeared was the queen's physician. He bows deeply and speaks cautiously. Madame, how is your health today? My sleep was shallow, but I do not feel unwell. Next, the surgeon steps forward and asks to take her hand. May I inspect your hand briefly to confirm your condition? Please. When they leave, the king's physician and the Dauphine's secretary enter one after another. Today's ceremonies begin at noon. Please do not let your body get cold. Madame, I shall inform you of today's visitors and schedule of official duties. Yes, let me hear it. People gather around the young Dauphine one after another. The morning air, which was calm just moments ago, takes on a tension as if the curtain of a stage has been raised. The time immediately after waking was often spent reading or embroidering, but that quiet time does not last long. The Dauphine's chief physician, surgeon, and even the king's physician, along with the queen's secretary, enter successively to check Antoinette's health and confirm her official duties. Already, many gazes were surrounding the young Dauphine, who was still in her bed. A little past 10 a.m., a desk and chair are arranged in the Dauphine's chambers, and preparations for choosing her outfit are complete. In the silence, the door opens. The head lady-in-waiting steps in, straightens her back, and announces reverently, Madame, it is time for the outfit selection. I have brought the sample book. Antoinette smiles gently and signals with her hand. Thank you. Please place it here. What the lady-in-waiting spread on the desk was a thick, heavy sample book. On its pages, pieces of fabric from every dress. The Dauphine owns vibrant silks, deep velvets, lustrous satins are neatly pasted. Small tags marked morning, afternoon, and evening are attached to the dividers, making it instantly clear which outfit belongs to which time. These are the samples for the previous season to be used for Madame's gowns. The colors have been rearranged to match the light of the season. The queen tilts her head while turning the pages and asks the secretary, "There are many guests for the morning ceremony, correct?" "Yes, madame. After the dressing ceremony at noon, mass and dining will follow." The Dauphine nods and places her finger on a pale blue fabric. "Then let us make the morning a calm shade, this bleu de France." "Understood." A court gown in blue silk. Beside her, the record keeper writes with a quill pen, "Morning, blue for worship, recorded." Turning the pages further, the Dauphine pictures her afternoon schedule. "In the afternoon, I might walk in the garden. Something light that sways in the wind would be good." "Then how about this light silk? It shimmers softly with movement." "Yes, I like it. I will wear that for the afternoon." Afternoon, light silk, recorded. Then the Dauphine lifts her face and envisions the evening's events. "In the evening, I will make an appearance at the ball and the card tables. Something a bit more glamorous." "Your Highness, this fabric for formal wear goes very well with jewelry. That is good. This one for the evening." The 3 points are decided. The Dauphine quietly inserts a small pin into the corner of the chosen fabrics. Each time a pin is placed, the tags written morning or afternoon are attached, finalizing the instructions. "I will confirm the final selection for today. Morning, blue for ceremonial use. Afternoon, light silk, casual wear. Evening, formal. Are these 3 items correct?" "Yes, there is no mistake." At the head lady-in-waiting's command, the room begins to move. Selection complete. Begin preparations. The wardrobe staff and maids immediately head to the wardrobe, take out the instructed outfits, and lay them on the work table. Morning gown, blue. Check the embroidery and hem. Understood. I will arrange the lace on the hem. The 3 chosen outfits are covered with thin paper to protect the outer fabric, and then wrapped gently in white taffeta. The finished bundles are placed in deep baskets, lined with clean cloth. Number 1 to the dressing room by the bedroom. Number 2 to the wardrobe room. Number 3 will be humidity controlled in storage until evening. Begin transport. Hold the corners so it doesn't shake. The maids carry the deep baskets and quietly leave the room. Walking in unison, their movement is more like a ritual than carrying luggage. The Dauphine closes the sample book and whispers while tying it with her fingertips. "Whenever I look at it, the sample book seems like a small theater. It is the script that supports your Highness's day. Even cloth holds words in your Highness's presence. Then, I will surely perform today's script beautifully." Then the secretary calls out discreetly, "We will arrange today's schedule to match the outfits. The hairdresser will arrive before the noon ceremony." "Very well. Now, next is hair time." Only the glimmer of the pins from the completed selection remains on the desk, and the room quietly shifts to the next preparation. The series of preparations was a ritual in itself, and the clothes were items to adorn the Dauphine while simultaneously being proof of her authority. A little past 11 a.m., the sound of light footsteps echoed outside the door. When the lady-in-waiting opens the door, a hairdresser carrying a toolbox respectfully bows and enters the room. "Madame, I accept your orders for today. May I begin preparing your hair?" Antoinette sat in the chair in front of the mirror and answered with a smile, "Yes, please make it a little glamorous today." The hairdresser skillfully takes out curling people in the afternoon and carefully wraps the Dauphine's golden hair one lock at a time. Then, he took out a long iron rod from the toolbox. It is the curling iron of that time. Unlike modern ones heated by electricity, it was a tool used after being heated red hot in charcoal or a fireplace fire. Because the heated iron was applied to the hair to create curls with a sizzling sound, there was a danger of burning the hair if the heat was too strong. As the hairdresser skillfully handled the iron, a savory scent like singed hair tips spread through the room. The Dauphine looks at herself in the mirror with a practiced air, and the ladies-in-waiting hold their breath watching the finish. Then white powder is lightly sprinkled, the brush runs rhythmically, and the whole thing is finished softly. Pomade for the finish. "And will you use this ribbon and flower decoration?" "Let's use that pink ribbon. The flowers will be white." Eventually, the hair was tied up high enough to exceed her height and brilliantly colored with ribbons and flowers. That appearance was a work of art rather than a hairstyle. Today's hairstyle is also magnificent. It will be the talk of the court. The Dauphin smiles through the mirror. Hair has a language even if I do not speak. I wonder what kind of rumor it will be today. Meanwhile, the door kept opening, and high-ranking nobles, seeking the Dauphin's favor, entered the room one after another. Everyone sat in chairs with natural faces or bowed discreetly, watching the Queen's preparations. The Dauphin's living room was no longer a private place, but a stage showing her existence, just like her hair being arranged. When the clock hands point to noon, a new tension runs through the Dauphin's room. It is because the highlight of the morning preparations, the grand dressing ceremony, begins. The head lady-in-waiting wardrobe staff and high-ranking noblewomen line up in the room, and all eyes are cast at once. A golden pitcher is brought in, and water is poured over a silver bowl. Madame, your hands. Please. The Dauphin accepts the pure water on her outstretched hands and is lightly wiped with a cloth. This is where the real ceremony begins. The lady-in-waiting unfolded a white linen chemise. However, this could not be put on the Dauphin by just anyone. Only the highest-ranking woman present was permitted to hand over this garment. It is the Duchess of Orleans who will present the chemise today. The Dauphin nods quietly and accepts the chemise presented by the noblewoman with both hands. Waiting next is the corset. This is handled by the wardrobe staff. The corset was essential equipment for noble women at the time, tightening the waist thinly to create an elegant silhouette. When the wardrobe staff pulls the strings tight, the Dauphin's chest rises and falls slightly. Is it too tight, madame? No, it is fine. I am fine if I regulate my breathing. Next, the panniers are spread out. It is underwear like a framework that greatly expands the width, making the entire skirt swell significantly. Putting on the panniers, the Dauphin's figure instantly looked magnificent, like a stage costume. Furthermore, petticoats are layered, and finally, the chosen robe, the court dress for noon, is carefully put on. In fact, there were strict rules for this series of processes. The one who can hand over the chemise is the highest-ranking woman in the place, and those who handle the corset and robe are wardrobe staff and maids. The order of passing the cloth from hand to hand was also decided. And it was a mechanism where who handles the cloth at which moment was visualized through the Dauphin's body. The lady-in-waiting Henriette Campan records a sometimes comical scene in her memoirs. One winter day, while the Dauphin was standing naked, high-ranking women entered the room, one after another. Each time, the prepared chemise was passed from right to left, and then to the next. And the Dauphin was made to wait, while shivering in the cold. Madame crossed her arms in front of her chest, and chattered her teeth. But because of the hierarchy, no one could arbitrarily hand over the cloth. The appearance arranged in this way demonstrated the Dauphin's authority beyond clothes, and Antoinette's body became a mirror reflecting hierarchy and authority. That spectacle reminded people of France's strict hierarchy. When the Queen stood up after finishing the grand dressing ceremony, the priest waiting outside the door entered and announced in a low voice, "Madame, preparations for Mass are complete." The Dauphin nods quietly and heads to the chapel with Louis XVI. Guards and courtiers lined up in the hallway and bowed deeply each time they passed. Candle flames flicker on the small altar, and white smoke rises from the censer brought in by the chamberlain. "Lord, bless the Dauphin and Dauphine to dedicate this day to you." Watched by the people, the princess quietly clasped her hands and bowed her head. The prayer is not long. Although formal, religious rituals were an important act, showing the legitimacy of the kingship. But when it was over, the Dauphin and Dauphine proceeded to the adjoining room, the cabinet of nobles. A luxurious dining table was already arranged there. Gold plates and silver cutlery are lined up, and the light of the candlesticks flashes. However, this lunch was unfortunately not a private time either. Outside the door, nobles and courtiers stood lined up like spectators, witnessing the scene. "Madame, today's menu is roast duck and chicken soup. A large platter is placed in front of the Dauphin." However, Antoinette hardly touched the meat dishes. "Thank you, but fruit alone is enough for today." What the Chamberlain presented was a small plate of fresh strawberries and cherries. The Dauphine takes a sip of water and slowly carries a strawberry to her mouth. Look at that, she is eating only fruit again. My water and strawberries in front of such a feast. It will become the seed of rumors among the people. Even that modest gesture became a topic for the people watching behind. You really are a light eater. Shouldn't you eat a little more? Yes, but sweet fruits suit me better. In the end, many of the luxurious dishes are taken away untouched. It was well known in the court that the Dauphine did not eat meals, and that is why Antoinette had a habit of taking another light meal with close friends in the afternoon. Having finished the meal, the queen calls out to the maid, "Take off the heavy hoops and train. I want to spend time a little more lightly." The maids move quickly and change her outfit while supporting the hem of the dress. Released from the suffocating formal dress of the court, the queen breathed deeply and gave a small smile. Finally, free time begins. Thus, for a moment in the afternoon, the Dauphine moves away from formal gazes and turns her heart to reading, music, and walking. The early afternoon was the most restful time for the Dauphine, reading, doing embroidery, walking in the garden. Released from formal gazes, she finally regains time just for herself. During this time, the Dauphine occasionally visited her aunts who lived within the palace. The daughters of Louis XV, Adela de Victoire, and Sophie, they were constantly waiting nearby to influence the young Dauphine. When the Dauphine visited their living room, Adela welcomed her with open arms. "Oh, lovely Marie, I heard you looked quite cold during the morning dressing." Yes, getting dressed took a little time. Victoire immediately interjected, "We felt the same way. That painful ceremony and that suffocating corset, they are truly inconvenient things. You may take it off in your daily life. If you wrap a black scarf, no one will notice." Sophie also nods and grins. Yes, if Madame dares not to wear a corset and behaves more naturally, people will rather sympathize with it as a fresh breeze. Antoinette listened with interest. "Oh, is there such a way? Do you all do that usually?" "Of course, because we are experienced, Marie, you should also be more comfortable and act dignified." However, this advice was also a trap to embarrass the Dauphine and endanger her position. Eventually, the fact that the Dauphine refused the corset and attended ceremonies became known throughout the court, and spread further to the streets of Paris, and this rumor even reached Vienna. A few weeks later, the letter that arrived from her mother Teresa contained harsh words. "I am heartbroken to hear that you are not wearing a corset. To protect your dignity as the Dauphine, you must groom yourself properly. Your posture alone reflects the dignity of the French royal family." Reading that letter, the young Dauphine put on the corset again, with a tightening feeling in her chest. It was music that softened Antoinette's painful feelings. In the afternoon, the Dauphine works hard on the harp, spinet, and singing lessons, and sometimes holds small concerts in her room. Music was a great comfort to the Dauphine, and at the same time, it was a means of interaction with the people of the court. Around 4 p.m., the priest arrives, and it becomes time for reading and study. It is a time to receive language and religious teachings, and the queen was required to show an attitude of learning here as well. Entering the room was Father Vermont, who has a calm voice. A Latin Bible and an Italian poetry anthology are lined up on the desk. "Madame, let us have you read a passage from the Psalms today. After that, we will move on to Italian conversation practice. I understand, the Lord is my light." The priest nods and adds words gently. "Good, your pronunciation has become quite smooth. Learning languages becomes the power to communicate with people of various countries." The Dauphine sighs slightly and picks up the quill pen placed on the desk, "But sometimes I feel cramped. Rather than learning surrounded by monitoring gazes, truthfully, I want to read quietly." Madame, learning is also one of the rituals, but what enriches the heart is undoubtedly your highness's own will. Please learn while enjoying it. When the priest smiles quietly, Antoinette relaxes her shoulders a little and drops her gaze to the book again. From 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., music practice continued, and sometimes impromptu small concerts were held. Around 6:30 p.m., if the weather is good, she goes out to the garden for a walk. In bad weather, she would visit her relatives' rooms again and enjoy conversation. Past 7 p.m., the Dauphine changes into a luxurious dress again. Deep-colored robes, magnificent jeweled necklaces, sparkling hair ornaments. In contrast to the light attire of the daytime, an even more glamorous appearance was required at night. Upon leaving the room, card tables were already set up in the aunt's room. "Oh, Marie, we have been waiting. Try to get lucky tonight." "Yes, but my hand is always modest." Surrounding nobles laugh, and the game proceeds under the glittering chandeliers. Even a single exchange of cards was an important place for nobles seeking the honor of playing with the Dauphine. Eventually, the dinner bell rings. A large crowd of spectators packed a dining table, lined with luxurious dishes. Look, Madame is eating only water and fruit again. Even so, that demeanor is just like a scene from a play. After finishing the public dinner, the Dauphine sometimes headed to the ballroom or took a carriage to the opera. In the vortex of music and dance, the night becomes even more festive. However, when the official events end, the Dauphine invites a few chosen friends into her private room, where she finally relaxes her shoulders and laughs with an unadorned voice. There's finally some quiet time. Let's chat tonight without being disturbed by anyone. Yes, madame, the real night begins from here. Responding to the Dauphine's words were the Princess de Lamballe and the Duchesse de Polignac, particularly close existences among her entourage. Although they were originally from families that could not be called wealthy, they captured the Dauphine's heart with their bright personalities and wit, and eventually became the women she trusted most as friends. In this way, in a corner of peace behind the glittering court life, Antoinette was finally able to regain her true self. Around 10:30 p.m., the Dauphine's room falls dead silent. Antoinette, who had removed her ornaments and changed into a nightgown, lay on the sofa waiting for the night's visit. Eventually, the door to the adjoining room opens and the Dauphin Louis XVI appears. "Marie, were you still awake?" "Yes, Your Highness, I was waiting." The Dauphin sits in a chair and stares silently at the Dauphin's face for a while. Traces of writing ink remained on his hands, showing the fatigue of the day's government affairs. "I went out to the hunting grounds today. I was curious about the mechanism of the lock, no matter what. That is fine then, but you should go to sleep for tonight." The Dauphin nodded slightly and stood up. "Then, see you tomorrow. Good night, Marie. Good night, Your Highness." The Dauphin returns to the adjoining room, and the door closes quietly. At 11 p.m., the Dauphin's day concluded with a solemn bedtime ceremony. The maids who entered the room surround the queen, as if retracing the morning preparations in reverse. Ornaments and luxurious dresses are removed and returned to the wardrobe one by one. And the wardrobe staff carefully inspected the seams and decorations, proceeding with arrangements for repair and cleaning for the next morning. "Madame, you must be very tired today. Please, allow us to take your clothes, please." Before long, a chemise with lace trim is presented, covering the Dauphine's skin. Furthermore, her body is supported by a looser corset, and finally, a nightcap is placed on her head. In contrast to the glamorous daytime attire, the nightwear appearance was somewhat fragile, a moment where the Dauphine's true face felt closest. When the Dauphine enters the bed, the maids arrange the cup. The candle flames are extinguished one after another, and a hush spreads through the room. That night, if the Dauphin was to share the bed, the Dauphin would lie in bed first. Waiting for her husband's arrival from beyond the connecting door. After finishing his own bedtime ceremony, Louis XVI quietly opens the door and enters the Dauphine's bedroom. When the next morning comes, the rising ceremony begins again, and the Dauphine's new day repeats under the gaze of the court. In this way, Marie Antoinette's day was less a private life and more a public schedule to perform the role of Dauphine, and later Queen. Even the choice of a single piece of clothing, a bite of a meal, or time for a walk, the Dauphine's actions were watched and interpreted by the people of the court. The Dauphine's trivial preferences and whims took on political meaning, sometimes ballooning into criticism and rumors. Even so, Marie Antoinette sought a place for herself in playing music, loving her children, and moments chatting with friends. In the days bound by the stage called Versailles, Antoinette's day constantly wavered between a life being watched and a life searching for herself. How was it? Please tell us your thoughts in the comments. We will continue to introduce moving stories, so please subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching until the end.